Okay, there's someone else.
Oh,
Hello.
we have
Hello.
someone else. Yeah.
Can you hear me? Newcomer? Hello? Well, anyway, I'm gonna start.
Allô?
Hello.
Allô? Allô,
All right.
bonjour.
Oui, parfait, parfait. D'accord. Bienvenue chez moi. Je vais
Merci bien.
commencer avec la leçon. Okay. So, we're gonna talk about phrasal verbs. Yeah?
Yeah.
Obviously. So, let's start from the very beginning. What is a phrasal verb and what is not a phrasal verb? Okay? What do we understand by phrasal verb? So basically, it's a combination of a verb plus a particle. Okay?
Okay.
At least one particle. And that particle looks like a preposition. So for example, let's say look. And then you have the particle for, right?
Okay.
Look for. But there's other condition. This combination must have a different meaning, a new meaning. Okay?
Okay.
So it's not any verb with any particle or preposition, but it has to have a special meaning or a different meaning. Now,
Okay.
that's clear, right?
If we change the particle, the meaning change.
The meaning changes. That's correct. We're gonna take a look
Okay.
at that now.
Sorry, but is this a coherence between the particle and the meaning? I mean,
Yes.
okay, okay.
So we're gonna take a look at that. So first, we're gonna review what we understand by phrasal verb and what is not a phrasal verb.
Okay.
So, for example, we came out to talk to us. Is this a phrasal verb? No.
Yes. No.
It's
Why
not a
not?
phrasal verb because it still means come. Okay, it has that idea of coming. So remember, it has to be a normal verb, a prepositional adverb, resulting in a new verb with a different meaning. Okay? So if I add a preposition just to indicate direction, that is not really a phrasal verb. Just a verb with a preposition.
Okay.
Okay? Another one. Lies always come out in the end. So here, that's a phrasal verb. But why? Because here come out does not really have nothing to do with coming. It means to publish or to be public.
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah?
Yeah.
So this concept is very important to understand. So it has to be a verb plus a preposition or adverb with a different meaning from the original verb. Okay? Another one. She came in and closed the door. So that is not
No.
actually a phrasal verb. This is just a phrase, a verb with a preposition that give me a direction. So come in. Now here. We were in shock when the result came in. This is a phrasal verb because it means to be announced. Right?
Yeah. Okay.
You get the idea? Let's take a look at another one. She came up to say hello. Not really a phrasal verb because it just means coming, yeah? It means approaching, yeah? Now, his name came up in the conversation. That's a phrasal verb, but it has a different meaning because it means to be mentioned, yeah? So as you can see, many times you can have the same combination of verb as a preposition, but sometimes it has like a literal meaning of the verb. Sometimes it has like a metaphorical meaning, and that's a phrasal verb. Okay?
So to know is this a phrasal verb or not, you must understand the meaning of the
Exactly.
sentence.
Exactly. So in order for a combination of a verb plus a preposition to be a phrasal verb, it has to have like a different meaning from the original verb. Okay?
Okay.
Now, as mentioned, So before someone told me, so yes, these preposition, they have different ideas of meaning attached to them. So here we have a list of them: up, down, in, out. So yeah, when we talk about phrasal verb, we have to understand something.
Okay.
Sometimes we use this with a literal meaning, so meaning direction, the direction of the phrasal verb, or the preposition rather, sorry. But sometimes has a metaphorical meaning or a figurative meaning. It's like an
Oh, d'accord.
Yes.
extension, and that's
Yeah.
Ah, bien.
that's when it's difficult. Yeah. So let's take, for example, this example here. Please put out your cigarette. So
Put
here,
out.
mhm. So what do I mean? Do I mean like to play something outside? Not really. So
C'est
here, out means like
jeter en français, c'est ça?
Si tu veux en français, ça
étendre,
veut
je
dire
suppose.
foularde.
Mhm.
Jeter.
Jeter, oui. Non, pas jeter, c'est
Non.
étendre. Étendre.
To put, c'est
To
prendre.
put it out.
Ah,
Yeah.
ok.
Je sais pas mon.
So
Ok,
you
ok.
see?
Put.
So
Yeah, yeah.
here, out has a different idea. So out means like extinction or to finish something. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So also very important when we are learning phrasal verb, it's very important to remember the context and the collocation. What do I mean by context and collocation? Wait a moment, there's somebody else in. Voila. Hello, newcomer.
Hello.
Hello. So here we are talking about phrasal verbs.
Yeah.
So let me give you a little introduction, just a summary. So phrasal verb is a combination of a verb plus a preposition with a different meaning. Okay? So we're talking about that. And then we were talking about the different ideas of those prepositions. So sometimes those prepositions they mean this, yeah, like the direction, yeah. Sometimes has a different meaning. It has a figurative or idiomatic meaning. And you have to understand that many of these they have multiple meanings. It depends on the context. And on top of that, many of these phrasal verbs they could have multiple meaning. Okay? So we were giving an example, for example, put out a cigarette. Yeah?
Teacher, I have a question, please.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Do we have to learn all the meaning?
Okay.
Tu peux m'aider,
I.
Fatima, s'il te plaît, parce que j'arrive pas.
Mhm.
Je sais que tu connais le français. Tu peux lui
Oui,
dire,
oui,
est-ce
je
que...
peux comprendre
Ah, tu
français.
comprends?
Ah, il
Oui,
peut
Ok, très
comprendre
bien.
aussi.
En fait,
oui.
est-ce on doit les apprendre par cœur ou il y a une technique pour les comprendre?
D'accord. Il faut
D'accord.
apprendre sur mesure. OK?
Sur
D'accord.
à mesure, oui.
Oui,
Ah, ok.
sur mesure, parce que
Mais,
c'est
mais
beaucoup. C'est beaucoup.
you can explain in English. We can
Yes.
understand, but
All right.
to
Oui, oui,
express
mais ouais.
ourselves, we can't.
I understand
All
English, but I can talk.
He can.
okay.
Ouais.
Yeah.
But sorry. So yes,
Non, c'est pas
we
grave.
have to learn as you go. Why? Because phrasal verbs is, I mean, it's basically it's English. Yeah, it's a whole
Yeah.
language basically. So
Yeah.
you have to learn as you go. So first of all, you need to understand what a phrasal verb is and what a phrasal verb is not. So we already know what a phrasal verb is,
Yeah.
and now you have to understand that in order to remember any word, any new expression or phrasal verb, whatever, or any new concept, you have to understand when to use it, how to use it. So for phrasal verbs, you need to understand context. So for example, let's talk about put out. So usually we use put out with word related to fire.
Yeah.
And then you need to learn collocation. So here we have collocation, yeah? What does collocation mean? Collocation basically are words that go together naturally in language. So, for example, in English, it's very natural to say, put out your cigarette, put out the fire, put out flames. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Wait a moment, there's somebody else coming. Sorry. Wow, quite a lot of people are coming today. Hello? Hello, can you hear me?
What does collocation mean, please?
Okay, can anyone repeat what I said before? What does collocation mean, guys?
Euh, en,
Mhm.
en, en, en français, je t'explique en français.
Oui, s'il te plaît,
Can
C'est
merci.
you?
c'est comme on
Mhm.
dit, c'est comme on dit en fait une
Collocation.
colocation. Oui, voilà, c'est le regroupement de deux mots pour
Mhm.
donner un seul sens. Vous
Okay,
comprenez?
I'm gonna give you an example
D'accord, ok.
of
Oui,
collocation. So, for example, in French, when we say question or question, we don't really say faire une question, n'est-ce pas? On dit poser une question.
oui,
Oui,
voilà.
That's a collocation. As simple as that.
Oui,
d'accord.
So words that go
oui,
together naturally in a language,
oui, voilà.
and
C'est le regroupement de deux mots.
exactly. There's no reason why. There's no grammar. It's just the expression. You just have to learn it.
D'accord.
So, for example, we put out a fire. We put out a light. We put out a cigarette in English. Okay,
Yeah.
And
and here.
always when we use, sorry, and always
Mhm.
when we use some words like cigarette, fire, or flames, we use obligatoirement put, or we can use another verb.
Okay, many of these phrasal verbs,
Excuse me.
many of these phrasal verbs, you're gonna have an equivalent in Latin, right?
Oui,
So yeah, it's also possible to say extinguish a fire. But the problem is this is not as common as saying putting out a fire. Because in English, when people speak, they usually use a phrasal verb rather than a Latin word, right?
yes, I agree. Yes,
Mhm. Why? Because basically phrasal verb is a very important part of the language. Yeah, it's basically the everyday language of English. Now, are these useful? Not really. And I'm against this kind of list like this. So put away, put by. There's somebody else. Sorry, everybody's coming now. Where are you? No, I heard something. Well, okay, right. What was I? So, I'm totally against a list of words. Why? They're usually out of context. So remember, no context, no learning. You won't remember them because you don't have a context. And also, no collocation. So if you know what word you have to use it with, you cannot really use it naturally. You will forget. Okay? Now,
okay.
something you could do is try to make sentences using phrasal verb with similar ideas. For example, um, let me give you an example. So, for example, ideas like so these are basically the preposition you can use a phrasal verb with. So you could use any verb with one of these. Okay,
Particles.
particles exactly. Um, and also, as I mentioned before, you can use them in two different ways: literal and metaphorical. Yeah. So
Yeah.
let me give you an example what I mean by literal or metaphorical. So let's take the example get on. So if you understand the idea of on means touching. You have an object touching another object or person, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Can you tell me your names, everybody?
My name is Zara.
Sarah, yeah,
Zara. Yeah.
Sarah. How about you guys?
My name is Kimberly.
Pundarabi? Pundarabi. Okay.
I'm
Uh,
Davide.
Davide. Okay. Somebody else around there?
Oui.
Kimberly.
Khalil.
Pundarabi, Khalid, Davide, and Sarah. So there are four of you. Okay. So Sarah, est-ce que tu peux lire ça pour moi?
Oui, bien sûr.
Okay.
The
Let me
bus was
zoom.
full. We couldn't get on.
Okay. So we couldn't get on.
Yeah.
So it means you are on the surface inside this bus, yeah. So on the surface of the bus, yeah.
We used say we missed the bus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ok.
Meaning?
Davide, puoi leggere questo?
No, the bus was full. Yeah.
Sì, posso leggere.
Grazie.
A woman got into the car and drove off.
Okay, so here we have got into. So remember,
Yes.
when you're talking about vehicle, we usually say
Ah.
get on a bus, get on a plane, get on a
Teacher,
train, but you get into a car.
I have
So
a
you
question.
got into a car and then you drove off. So basically here off means to say goodbye, you leave, yeah? You leave by driving. Yeah? That's why we say drove off. Okay. Kali?
Yes, just before I read,
Mm-hmm.
I just go back to the second
Mm-hmm.
sentence. A woman got into the car. Got
Mm-hmm.
into is not a phrasal verb because we have got into can't be a phrasal verb, isn't it?
Okay, got into, well, it's a phrasal verb, but used in a literal way.
Ah, okay.
Okay? So it's not that, so it's basically you're using a verb with a meaning of the preposition. So the idea is you are getting into this is the direction, yeah, of the movement. So this is used in a literal way, yeah.
D'accord. Okay. So I read the third
Yeah,
sentence.
please.
Sarah is leaving tomorrow and coming back on Saturday.
Okay, so here the idea of back means again. So coming back, coming again, yeah. Puntarabi, right? Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Can you read this?
Kimberly, I think.
Kimberly, right?
Yes, it's Kimberly.
Kimberly,
Yes.
sorry. Sorry,
No worries.
bye bad.
And when I touched him on the shoulder, he turned around, round.
Okay, exactly. When I touch him, so round again. This is the direction of your movement. Yeah. So it means
Yeah.
you turn around. You like this. Yeah. I don't know if
Yeah.
you can see me. Yeah. You turn around. So if you can see all these verbs with the preposition in these sentences, they are talking about the movement, the direction of the preposition. Yeah. Now the problem is this. Many times they have a special meaning or metaphorical meaning. Yeah, you cannot guess easily. And this is a problem with the phrasal verb. For example, Sarah, est-ce que tu peux lire ça?
Oui. Sorry, I'm late. The car broke down.
So break down. So break down means stop functioning. When you're talking about an engine or a machine, yeah?
Yeah.
C'est trompé. Oui. Davide, per te.
Sì. I never found out who sent me the flowers.
So here, out means like solution or discovery. So find, trovare, trouver. Find out and discover. So you can see how the idea changes. Yeah. Okay, Caleb, this one for you.
Okay. It was my first flight. I was nervous as the plane took off.
Exactly. So here the idea of off is the opposite of on. So here we say take off because we understand the plane is separating from the floor. Okay. So that's why we say take off. It gets separated. Yeah.
Okay.
Kimberly, for you.
Okay. I tried many times to contact her. In the end, I give up.
Exactly. So here, giving is donner or dare. Yeah.
Yeah.
Give up is something different. Give up means stop trying, surrender. Yeah. You give up.
Yeah.
So you can see no relation really. It's completely different. Yeah. Sarah, pour toi.
How was the exam? How did you get on?
Exactly. So before we saw get on used in a literal way. So basically means you are on the bus. Yeah.
Yeah.
But here has nothing to do with that. It just means to progress. Yeah. How are you
Yeah.
progressing? Yeah.
Yeah.
Davide.
My French isn't good, but it is enough to get by.
Exactly. So get by to manage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Je me débrouille en français. Yeah?
C'est ça.
All right. Sometime you're gonna have a phrasal verb with a preposition. When are you going to use this preposition? When you have an object. For example, look up at. Caleb, for you.
Yes. We looked up at the plane as it flew above us.
Exactly. So here it's used in a literal way. So it's look up. Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, look up could have a different meaning. So another thing you're gonna learn is that many of these expressions, many times they have more than one meaning. They could have four meaning, five different meanings. Yeah. Okay. Kimberly, for you, run away. Can you read this one?
Why did you run away from me?
Exactly. So here, away basically means escape. So you escape by running. Yeah.
Yeah.
Caleb, for you.
You are walking too fast. I can't keep up with you. Just I have a question
Mm-hmm.
concerning the second sentence. Run away.
Mm-hmm.
Away
Mm-hmm.
is indicate the distance
Too
Yeah,
far.
yeah,
too
it
far.
means
Okay.
far, but it also
Far.
means something like escape.
Like escape, run away
Like
means escape.
escape, exactly.
Okay. Thank you.
Like,
Thank
like if you were a thief, so for example, you rob a bank, you run away later because you don't want
Yeah.
to get caught. Yeah. So
D'accord, ok.
that's so many times we use away with this idea of escaping or going to a different place. Yeah. Okay, this is a difficult one for you, Davide.
Thank you. Are you looking forward to your trip?
Perfect. So yes, if you understand forward, forward basically means this direction. But of course, this is not like you literally looking forward. No, it doesn't mean that. It means like you are thinking about the future or you are anticipating a day in the future. So for example, you can be looking forward to Christmas Day. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that means you are thinking about Christmas, you want that day to be here, yeah, you are anticipating, yeah. So we say look forward to, yeah.
Okay.
So it's not used in a literal way, but in a metaphorical way.
Metaphorical. Yeah.
It's used in the idea of the future, yeah. It's like you're imagining that day and you are too desirable, you really that day to be here. Okay.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
If I remember well, you use looking forward, look forward also in the email, like I look forward your reply, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, you can also use it. Yeah, it means you are anticipating the reply. You're really impatient for that day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now let's talk about the grammar of phrasal verb. This is probably the driest bit of phrasal verb. Now, with phrasal verb, you have to understand we have what we call separable phrasal verb. Let me type it here. Where are you? Here. Oh, sorry. So you have separable, separable and non-separable. Yeah, non-separable. What do I mean by this? Easy. So some phrasal verb you cannot separate, but unfortunately most phrasal verb you can separate. Let me give you some example. So let's talk about non-separable first. Non-separable. For example, look after. This is a non-separable phrasal verb. Why? Because you can say, for example, you can say this. I look after my dog. Yeah, for example. But you cannot say I look my dog after. This is incorrect.
Yeah. We can
Okay.
separate this.
Now, so this is a non-separable. But if you look, for example, of turn on, this is separable. Because you can say this, I turn on the light, I turn the light on. It's the same, no difference. Okay? Now, the problem with these separable phrasal verbs is that if you use one of these, any pronoun, it, them, me, her, whatever, right? It has to be separated. So that means if you use, for example, turn on with one of these, you have to do this here. I turned in on. And this is incorrect. Okay? You understand this?
Yeah.
Yes.
More
Very
or less.
important. Let's practice this a little bit. So for example, take off. This is separable. So you can say, I'm going to take off my shoes, or I'm going to take my shoes off. But these shoes are uncomfortable. I'm going to take them off. Yeah, can you see this in the middle? So you have to separate when you have a separable phrasal verb. Okay? Okay. Davide, can you read all of this here?
Okay.
Sorry, I have a question. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
But when we use no, does it sound weird when sometimes we, for example, I'm going to take them off. If we say I'm going to take off them,
This is incorrect,
yes,
as you
it
can
sounds
see.
weird. It sounds
Yeah, it
like English.
sound wrong. Why? Because it's a separable phrasal verb.
So I
So
mean, if we have oh Zara, s'il te plaît, ton aide.
Ah oui,
oui.
Ok.
tu
Dis-moi,
veux.
Alors
dis-moi.
attends, en fait, je veux dire, si par exemple, tu vois, tu utilises d'autres
Mhm.
verbes, phrasal verbes, comment on dit en français, je sais pas. Si tu en
Ça, ça...
utilises
Oui,
et que
c'est
ça,
quoi déjà le verbe?
Mhm.
ben non, si tu utilises n'importe lesquels et que
Ok.
ça s'entend bizarrement, est-ce que ça veut dire que obligatoirement qu'on peut pas l'utiliser?
Oui, c'est obligatoire. Quand on utilise un pronom personnel comme ça,
Oui.
ou par exemple it, them, me ou any, c'est obligatoire si on utilise une phrase verbe séparable. Ah,
Ouais.
séparable. Mais
D'accord.
il y en a inséparable. Alors, avec inséparable, par exemple.
Je crois que c'est pour objectif en fait de éviter la répétition, non?
Oui, 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 of course. Exactly.
Ah, ouais.
T'as compris,
Oui.
Khalil?
Ah, ok.
But,
Ok. Pourquoi on utilise des pronoms? C'est pour
Ouais.
ça. Pour éviter répéter. But let's talk about look after. So this is
Oui.
a non-separable. So here I say I look after her. Why? Because this is non-separable. That means you cannot separate them. Never. So that's important to know, yeah? So you have to remember if it's a separable or not separable. How can you learn this? Easy. Just introduce a pronoun. If you put a pronoun in, it has to be like this. That means it's not separable. On the other hand, if you have a pronoun, let me show you. Where are you?
Faut toujours avoir bien comprendre le sens bien, de la phrase. Oui, le
Ouais,
contexte
d'accord.
de la phrase.
Merci.
Mhm,
Et donc, à chaque fois, ça s'entend bizarrement si ça marche pas.
Oui, c'est ça.
mhm, mhm.
D'accord.
Voilà.
I understand. Thank you so
I'm
much.
going
Mhm.
to take off them, ça, c'est
Ouais,
pas
c'est
C'est
correct.
faux.
Donc,
C'est pas
pour tous les
correct.
autres phrasal verbs, si ça s'entend pas correct, ça veut dire que ça marche pas.
Oui,
Oui, voilà, exactement.
exactement, exactement.
Thank you. Thank you.
Not at all. Any other question? Anyone?
No, it's okay. I
Okay.
think.
So the problem with this is that most phrasal verbs they are separable, which means if you use a pronoun, you have to separate.
Okay.
Okay? But if you mention the thing or the person, it's optional, right? Okay, Davide, per te.
Thank you.
Not at all.
Look. Don't wake up the baby. Don't wake the baby up.
Mhm.
But the baby is asleep. Don't wake her up.
Exactly.
Not
Don't wake her up. Exactly.
wake up her.
Exactly. So this
It
is
sounds
incorrect.
weird. Mm, okay.
But
Yes,
remember,
yes.
so this is for separable phrasal verb. Remember, in English, some phrasal verb they are non-separable. Some of them, not all of them, okay, but some of them. Okay, this one for Sarah. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, don't throw away this box. Don't throw this box away. But I want to keep this box, so don't throw it away.
Perfect. Good job. Now it's the
Thanks.
moment we.
Holy shit.
Let's see if you understood my explanation.
Okay.
So, don't worry, don't worry.
Exercise.
Okay, something about this exercise. Remember, you have to change the tense. So if you want to talk about the past, you have to use the past. Blah blah blah. Yeah. Anyway,
Okay.
so here we're going to create new verbs out of these two boxes. Okay. So you have to choose one verb from the left, another from the right, and then you have to change it according to the sentence. So it has meaning. Yeah, it makes sense. For example, let me read the first one. Sarah is leaving tomorrow and coming back on Saturday. Yeah. So come back, as if you remember, means to return, yeah, to come again. Okay.